Chapter 162. Mr. Depp simply smiled without saying anything. Everyone was curious as they waited for the results. An hour passed by quickly, and at this time, Carter was staring into space as he was feeling a little nervous. Suddenly, a loud bang was heard from the west. After that, a strong wind swept across the garden and there was a slight vibration from the ground. Hazel smiled as he looked at his cell phone and said, "Based on the news feed that I have just received, it seems as though someone tried to move some quarry rocks and it caused an explosion and a 2.4 magnitude earthquake in the west. The police have already arrested the culprit." At this time, Carter raised his head and he no longer looked as arrogant as he was before this. He smiled awkwardly before he said, "Mr. Depp, you're really incredible. I admit defeat. Today, I, Carter Young, have lost to you. I will withdraw from this banquet immediately." After that, Carter picked up his jade before he turned around as he was prepared to leave. "Slow down," Hazel suddenly shouted. "Mr. Young, since you've already participated in the competition, then you should abide by the rules." "What rule are you referring to?" Carter asked with a sullen expression on his face. "According to the rules, if you lose, the winner has a right to take something belonging to you. Moreover, you have to make a public declaration stating that you will show utmost respect to and obey all of Mr. Depp's instructions in future." "Nonsense. This is just a banquet. There is no way I will allow you to rob me of my magic weapon just like that. Moreover, you are dreaming if you expect me to respect and follow someone else's orders." Carter was very annoyed at this time. He was so arrogant and he had such a bad temper. How could he ever succumb to someone else's orders? Gary raised his hand as he brought out another talisman and he started chanting before he yelled, "Abide by the law." Crack! At this time, Carter's jade suddenly broke into two halves as it fell to the ground. "You!" Carter's treasure was destroyed in front of everyone's eyes and Carter was trembling with rage at this time. Gary said in an arrogant manner, "If you refuse to abide by the rules, then it is only right for us to destroy the magical weapon. Don't stand there and give me all these nonsensical excuses." Carter's face was gray as he was in shock right now. He knew that he would never be able to defeat Gary. Gary had destroyed his family treasure in just one blow and he did not even have the power to fight back at all. Therefore, Carter glanced at the jade on the floor before he gritted his teeth and said, "Forget it. I will not fight with this kind of despicable person." After that, he turned around and left with a black face without even bothering to pick up the piece of jade on the ground. As soon as everyone witnessed this scene, the expressions on their faces changed immediately. Gary was unfathomable. Those who were initially very confident suddenly hesitated at this time. Chris also frowned as he whispered to Tim in a low voice. Immediately after that, Chris stood up before he waved his hands bitterly and said, "This is such a boring banquet that I am not enjoying at all. I will take my leave first." After that, Tim also stood up as they both of them started making their way out of the banquet. At this time, four strong and muscular men suddenly jumped out from left and right to block their way. Chris asked in an angry manner, "What do you think you are doing?" "Mr. Tyler, since you are already here at the banquet today, then why are you leaving halfway through the banquet?" Gary stepped forward as he smiled and said, "This banquet I've hosted is not a place that you can come and leave as you please. If you choose to leave now, wouldn't that be a violation of the rules?" Chris snorted before he said, "I'm not a member of the metaphysics circle. Whoever you choose as your leader is none of my business." Gary sneered before he replied, "You can leave right now if you want to, but you'll have to show your respect to me and leave a valuable item of yours behind."